Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. And today we are looking at a toy from the Power of the Force collection. This is Luke Skywalker with T16 Skyhopper model and tool. And this figure was actually part of the Comtech chip line. And if you're not familiar with what that is, during the Phantom Menace line they put out they tried a promotional thing that went with the figures, and each figure actually came with a little chip, a little microchip that was embedded in a piece of plastic that you could use as a stand. And you would take that stand, the Comtech chip, and you had to have something called a Comtech chip reader, and you scan the chip over the reader, and it would repeat lines from the movie. And so it had a dual purpose. You could use the chip as a little stand for the figure and as the reader for the Comtech chip reader, but it wasn't that popular, and I think they stopped doing it after about a year or two because it wasn't as popular as they thought it was going to be. But it initially was started as part of the Phantom Menace toy line, and it rolled over a little bit into the Power of the Force toy line, and I think they only did a couple figures that way, and then I think Hasbro gave up on it. But if you're not familiar with what Luke's holding in his hand here, you'll see he's holding a little model in his left hand. And what that is, if you're familiar with A New Hope at all, in the scene at the beginning where he's cleaning the droids in the garage, you'll remember he sits down for a little bit as he's casually talking to 3PO, and he picks up a little toy and he starts zipping it around his head. And what that was a model of a T-16 Skyhopper, which is a kind of a trainer plane for pilots. And you can actually see one in the movie. If you pay attention in the garage behind him, you'll actually see one parked there. But all you can really make out is the windshield in the very front of the plane. But it does appear in A New Hope. But you have to be real quick and really be paying attention. But quickly here, let's look at the figure. And I'm just going to spin him around real quick so you guys can see him from all sides. And you can see he's got two accessories, the little model, and in his other hand, on the packaging they're referring to it as a tool. And I suppose it's a tool to work on the model or to clean the droids. But this is supposed to be Luke from the scene in the movie when he's cleaning the droids. So, and like I said, you remember he picked up this little model and he was zipping it around. And here you can get a better look at it in Luke's hand. And that's what a T-16 Skyhopper looks like. He actually references it at the very end of the movie when they're talking about the assault on the Death Star. He says, I used to bullseye Womp Rats back home with my T-16. This is a T-16. This is what he's talking about. And it's just supposed to be like a little model or a toy that he was playing with in the Lars garage. But there you can see it also comes with a little stand. So you can stand it. It also, I mean, it actually kind of reminds me of the Micro Machine toys a little bit. It's about the same size, so. But that's the T-16 Skyhopper, and in his other hand, you'll see here, he has, if this thing would focus, come on. There we go. So you'll see in his other hand here, he has what they're referring to as a tool, and it does come out. You just kind of pull and twist. And he has a little utility tool, and because this is actually unique for a Luke figure, he doesn't come with a blaster or a lightsaber. So real quick here, I just want to show you the figure's movements, and there's very little to no head movement. It's just a little wiggle. Now on his arms here, he moves at the shoulder joints, and on both arms he moves at the elbows as well. And then he does have waist movement as well. And he bends at the hips and the knees. And that's pretty rare for a Star Wars figure. Not very many of them actually have knee joints. It has to be, usually it's a character that's riding a vehicle or another animal or something like that. But he does have knee joints. And just know that his hip movement's restricted a little bit due to his outfit, because you have these little flaps that stick down, so it kind of restricts the movement, but he can still sit down pretty good. So if you want to put him in his land speeder or something like that. But there he is, and real quick, let's see if we'll get these accessories back in his hand here. And of course you have the model and the tool. All right. And we'll get him back on his stand here. All right. And there he is, everyone, from the Power of the Force collection. This is Luke Skywalker with T16 Skyhopper model and utility tool from the ComTech chip line. And thanks for watching, everyone.